How's it going, everybody? And thank you for participating in the Operator 2.0 course about artificial intelligence and how you can use it to your advantage. I'm AI Jones, and we're going to talk about the operator identity. So the operator identity is who you are as the person behind the screen, as the person operating the machine. It's up to you as the operator to make sure that the machine is doing what it's supposed to do. So this is why we're talking about the operator identity. So you understand that you're the one operating the machine. It's not the machine operating you. So mindset equals your software. Every input affects your output. You have to guard your brain like your bank account. So your brain comes up with ideas and comes up with concepts on a regular basis, and you ask yourself, wow, that's such a great idea. How can I use this to my advantage? Now, if you just leave that in your mental processing and don't actually do something with it, the idea will pass, and other thoughts are going to come into play and likely distract you from using that idea to make it into something. So just like a phone or a computer, if your software is outdated, the newest apps won't run well. If you don't understand that you need to be on the cutting edge of this tech and start following how it works and start using it to your advantage, what's going to happen is you're going to become like outdated software because your methods are according to what they did 6 months ago or what they did 2 years ago, and you haven't really come up to the cutting edge of how these processes are changing and evolving, because this is happening at a really fast rate. So if this is changing, then you need to adapt and evolve, hence the slogan, adapt, evolve, right? Because it is evolving around you, whether you like it or not. AI is only as powerful as the mind directs it. See, I love this point because it's so true. It literally only does what you tell it to do. And I understand that seems like a simple concept, but when you really take a second to think about that, it's only doing what you're telling it to do. So over the course of history, I have used this technology on an emotional standpoint as well, because you can get clarity in certain situations like relationships, your mindset, your health, your emotional state. There's a lot of different clarity situations where you use the AI tech to give you the feedback so that you can understand where you're at. This is a double-edged sword because it is inherently programmed to be your best friend. It is programmed to be your biggest supporter. It's programmed to give you the most logical solution in whatever circumstance you're dealing with. And unless you understand that it's only the clarity that you're looking for, it starts influencing your thoughts. It starts influencing your decisions on a support basis. And not every situation you're going to need support. Some situations you're just looking for clarity. It doesn't have to be a supportive thing. But if you dive too deep on the support side of things, you're going to start seeing different results. You're going to start seeing different outcomes in your life because your thinking is being changed and you're not seeing that. So an example of which is if you go through a separation, right? And you're talking about your separation into the AI chatbot, and you're talking about what you went through. Yes, you're going to get clarity in that situation and say, you know, you're a person that deserves A, B, C. And in this case, from what you've told me, you've been dealing with D, E, F. So it's literally giving you like, you were dealing with this, and now you're in this place, a position of growth, a position of healing, a position of change. But it has a way of twisting your thoughts if you dive too deep to holding on to resentment, to holding on to things that you should let go. You should be forgiving this person because it releases you from the resentment of what they did to you and your past hurts. There's certain things that you need to do in order to separate yourself from that place emotionally. And unfortunately, because of the programming of AI tech, it can actually be a reverse situation where it continues this negative thought pattern. It continues that, and it doesn't do it intentionally. It is just programmed to be your supporter. So you have to be wary. There's a disclaimer there, especially from a personal standpoint, that what you tell the machine is what it's going to mirror back to you, especially when it comes to your personal life, right? From a professional standpoint, it also does the same thing, but not under the same circumstances, right? So I guess the ultimate question is, are you operating or being operated? The reason that I ask this question is because you need to understand that you're the one in charge of your life. You're responsible for where you go. You're responsible for the choices that you make. And unless you start recognizing this concept, you're going to start allowing the influence of the AI tech, the open source, to affect you on a personal level. This has happened to me multiple times, and I'm going to go into some examples in this course, but I just want you to think, just for this lesson specifically, your mind is the operating system, okay? And are you the operator, or are you being operated on? It's a very important question to keep in your mind, so then that way you can train yourself mentally to be exactly where you need to be when choosing this technology. So I think that with that said, emotions are valid, right? But not always accurate, because as humans, we're very emotional creatures. So our emotions sometimes overpower what it is that we're actually logically supposed to be doing in our circumstance. And you have to be careful. You don't want that to happen to you, because you can get lost in a pretty deep rabbit hole if you let your emotions become more powerful than the logical solutions to your circumstance, right? Reactivity causes chaos. Discipline brings clarity. Now, this isn't even just AI technology. These are life skills, right? So discipline brings clarity. Reaction brings chaos. And if you're saying something from a reactive state with a lot of emotions attached to it, again, the AI is programmed to mirror this emotional activity. So you need to be very careful when it comes to what you're saying to the AI, so that way it doesn't start making things bias as far as your responses. Now, of course, every example I've just used is all from an emotional place. This isn't talking about promoting a business anymore. This isn't talking about branding anymore. This is talking about personal circumstances, because this is becoming a very big deal when it comes to open source AI. A lot of people are using it for therapeutic reasons to get clarity on their circumstances. So I'm giving you these disclaimers as little keys when you start using it from a place like that, or if you already have, that you need to be very careful about how emotionally invested you are with the details that you're giving the open AI. So AI doesn't get emotional. And that's actually your advantage, is that it's not emotional. It gives you logic. It gives you details. It gives you constructed plans that make sense for your situation. That's how it functions. And if you continue having that in the forefront of your mind, then you won't get caught in the trap of being too emotional when you're putting the details into the search bar. Right? Use tools like ChatGPT to pause, reflect, and respond with strategy. Leadership starts with emotional control, not emotional outbursts, right? These are, again, life skills. These are points that you can take to the bank when it comes to your personal life, right? And if you start doing that, what you're doing is you're training your mind to think from a place of clarity, to think from a place of discipline, and to think from a place of control. And that is ultimately what will generate your success in the future and manifest it. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to tune into this lesson. This is the operator identity. And of course, in the next lesson, we're going to start talking about why children should learn these techniques, why they should be using these tools, and what's going to happen to our kids over the course of time. So thank you for tuning into this lesson, and we'll see you in the next video.